All right. Here we are. This is it. This is it. This is the inevitable has come. The moment is upon us. My absolute favorite movement to do, as you can tell. Video number 5. What are we talking about? We're talking about the squat. Look, I'm not excited, okay? I hate squats. I hate them. Even my favorite versions of squats are still just, I don't enjoy them, all right? Now, that probably has something to do with the fact that I was born flat-footed, and so I'm literally handicapped in that area, and my joints, like my ankles, are extremely pronated, and that affects everything upward, literally from the ground up. It affects my joints. Like my knees are affected, my hips are extremely tight. It's difficult. Okay, I find squats to be rather uncomfortable for me, but I still do them. I still do them. Why am I doing these exercises if I loathe them so? Because they're fundamental. That's why they're called the 5 fundamental movements. They need to be done. If I'm able to do them, they need to be done. I'm able to do it. I don't like it, but I'm able to do it, so I'm doing it. So I'm going to show you how to do it. And by the way, just because I hate it doesn't mean you'll hate it. Man, some people love squats. Some people just love working their legs. And I will say that ladies, in particular, tend to be very fond of working their legs, their lower bodies overall, for obvious reasons, okay, that I don't think I need to go into. All right, so squats. What are we doing here? Squatting. All right, so we're going to pick up some weight. Okay, we're going to go through the motions we always go through when we're picking weight up off the floor. All right, get planted with the floor. We don't just want to bend down and pick it up. We want to make sure that we're doing everything safely. So, planted on the floor. We're going to squat down to pick it up, which is really what you should be doing every time you pick something up off the floor. So we're going to squat down. We're going to pick up our weight like so, okay? And just like with the hip hinge movement, I'm using these 20-pound dumbbells because otherwise squats, I find them just too easy. Even for demos, I'm going to be using these, okay? So, you get a nice firm grip on them. Now, kind of like with our rows, remember from the first video, video 1, we're gonna put our feet, because we're using dumbbells, okay? This would not be the case if you were using a barbell, right? Like if you had a big barbell on your back, doing like traditional back squats, right? Like this kind of movement, this wouldn't be the case. But because we're using dumbbells and we don't want to clip our knees, we're going to bring in our feet a little bit more. Okay, kind of like we did with our rows, where it's like you kind of picture your head being squeezed between your 2 feet. That's where I'm going to have my legs. Okay, that's why I find it the most comfortable for this particular variation of the squat that I'm going to show you right now. So here we go. We're simply going to, it's much like a deadlift, okay? We want to make sure we're still keeping our lower back nice and rigid, that we're sticking out our butt, okay? And we're just let the weight hang down, shoulders back, chest out, let it hang down, and we're going to squat down, okay? Now you can bring out your knees a little, you can bring out your feet a little bit if you need to. Okay, I'm trying to keep them a little bit closer together, and that's also for my own knee comfort. Okay, it's a tricky thing. It even changes sometimes from day to day. Like right now, I'm actually feeling that if I bring them in a little bit closer like that, it's feeling a little weird right now. Okay, so I'm gonna point my toes kind of forward but out, just very, very slightly. Bring my feet a little further apart, because that's feeling good. That's feeling better right now for me. And I'm gonna go down and do the squat. Okay. Now just go down as far as you can without hurting yourself. Okay. And then simply come back up. Here we go. From the side like this. Same thing. We got our dumbbells to the side, hip hinged. We're going down. Okay? As far as I can and come back up. Now this is working your quads and your glutes. Your quads are the muscles in front of your legs. So your hamstrings were the muscles behind, like in the back of your thighs. And your quadriceps, or quads, are the muscles more in front, kind of in the side, but mostly like in front of your leg, okay? And it's also working your glutes. Both the deadlift and the squat work your glutes, okay? All right. Glutes are your butt muscles. In case you hadn't picked that up yet, I thought that was clear, but whatever. All right, so here we go again. Keep it onto the side. Really the main difference between a deadlift and a squat is how much you bend your knees. So when we did the deadlift, we kind of held the dumbbells in front of us, right? Not so much to the side, but kind of in front of us, like right in front of our knees, and we just let it dangle and go down like this. And while our knees are bent a little bit, that's not the point of the movement. The point of the movement is to stick out your butt in the back as much as possible. Get that good hamstring stretch. Good stretch in your hamstring and glutes, and then come back up again, right? That's the deadlift. But the squat is you want to bend your knees so that you're working your quads. Okay, so that you're working the front of your legs more rather than the back of your legs. All right. That's one variation of the squat. Now, I will show you how another variation of the squat, now that I got that one out of the way, this second one is the one that I'm finding I prefer a bit more, okay? I don't mind doing this one quite so much. So, I'm just gonna stick that dumbbell to the side. I got a few more dumbbells on the floor, so I'm just moving them out of the way. And the reason I'm doing that is that I need more space for this exercise, because for this one, we're going to stand, try to back up as much as I can so you can see, we're not going to keep our feet closer together for this one. We're not even going to have them shoulder width apart. We're going to have them more than shoulder width apart. We're going to point out our toes at about a 45-degree angle, maybe like a 35-degree angle, something like that. And we're going to do a goblet squat, okay? Called the goblet squat because when you hold the dumbbell like this, you can do this with a kettlebell, okay? If you have access to a kettlebell, then it just becomes a kettlebell squat. But since we're doing it with a dumbbell, which resembles a goblet, it's called the goblet squat. So what we're going to do is make sure we get our core engaged, right? So we're kind of tightening our abs a little bit. That's always good. And we're going to go down like this. And that just feels so much better, okay? That just feels so much better to me. It's a lot less stress on my knees, okay? I will eventually feel it more in my glutes as I continue to do more reps. And I just don't hate it. It's okay. I can tolerate this exercise, whereas the other squat, not so much. But I did the other one first because that's actually the one I started with when I started doing this exercise, when I started working out. I wasn't doing these goblet squats like this, okay? Now, I guess I'll just do it from the side as well, since that's been the pattern, just so you can see. So again, we're making sure we're nice and tight, right? Chest up, looking up and forward. We come down, get a nice good stretch in there, And notice too when I'm doing the goblet squat, as opposed to the other one with my dumbbells to the side, I'm getting a lot lower. Okay, I'm bending my knees more, and my butt's closer to the floor. I'm getting a better range of motion while doing this one. All right, so another benefit of the goblet squat that I would like to express right now is, if you noticed, when I was doing the first squat, the first variation with 2 dumbbells, well, I had 2 dumbbells, and I was still having some trouble activating the muscles that were supposed to be the primary movers. That is my quads and my glutes. Wasn't feeling a whole lot. It was just uncomfortable. I didn't like it very much, and I had 2 20-pound dumbbells. But now I have half of that weight in just 1 20-pound dumbbell, and I'm getting more activation, meaning I'm feeling it more in my muscles. I feel like they're actually doing the work they're supposed to be doing. I'm feeling it less in my joints. And because I have half of the weight while getting more activation, I don't have to worry about exhausting my upper body as much, my grip, my forearms and whatnot. I can just hold this. I mean, I could hold this thing for a very long time. I'm using 2 arms to hold 20 pounds as opposed to, having 20 pounds in each arm. So I don't have to worry about exhausting my upper body before I get done with my set for my lower body. I can just focus on my quads and my glutes like I'm supposed to, okay? And honestly, I don't recall whether I did a side shot of these, so we're just going to do that one more time, okay? We're at the side. We've got our feet nice and spread apart here, toes out a bit, and then rigid lower back so it's not going anywhere. Chest out, head up. Just like that. Now, when you're doing squats in particular, there's some debate about when you come up after doing the squat, okay? I'm going to say it's okay to kind of have a sort of like locked position when you come up, but don't relax your quads. Don't relax your legs. So if you're going to lock your joints, if you're going to lock your knees when you come up, try to squeeze those quads. Squeeze that front of your muscle like you're trying to flex it. Okay? So if you were to just hold out your leg and like flex your leg like this, I don't have very big legs, and I don't know about this lighting if you can even see this, but I'm flexing my leg. Okay, I'm flexing my quads. That's what you want to do when you come up. So we're going like this, we're coming down. Now I would recommend either not locking your legs, or locking your knees, that is, or you can not lock your knees but flex your quads as you're locking and then come back down again. That way you can maintain tension in the lift. And that kind of goes with all of your lifts. Maintaining tension is a key component in a successful lift, okay? So that goes for everything. Like when you're doing your shoulder press, let me come down here so you can see me better. When you're doing your shoulder press, right, your upward press, you come up, and when you come down, you don't just want to relax. Even if your joints are stacked like they're supposed to be, it could be really tempting to just kind of relax them when you come down. You don't want to do that. You want to press, and when you come down, maintain tension. Try to squeeze those shoulder blades together, keep that tension in the shoulders, and then press up again. Same thing when you're doing your push-ups or your forward press. Kind of maintain tension. Squeeze the chest as you're coming up. Okay. That's just, that rule applies across all of weight training. I can't think of any exercise to which that doesn't apply. Okay, so there may be exceptions that I'm not thinking of right now. So I'm just saying I can't think of anything. All right, so that is the squat. Do it the way you think feels better or best, but those are the 2 variations that I wanted to demonstrate right now for you for that fundamental movement, the squat movement. As I'm thinking about it, before I leave, another benefit of the goblet squat, as opposed to the regular squat I was doing earlier with dumbbells on the sides, is that as you're coming down, it works these muscles right in here on your inner thigh. And when I do a squat with my feet closer together with the dumbbells to the sides, I don't feel that at all. Okay? So, for you life veterans out there, you get that sort of that thigh master effect, right? Remember the thigh master? My dad had one of those. I remember watching him when I was a little kid. It was great. You got a thigh master, and you're squeezing the thing. Okay. Anyway, that could be a sort of ignored or neglected muscle group right there. And but if you're doing your squats that way, nice and spread out, you can hit those too. All right. So you get a nice rounded workout. Forget the first variation. If you like it, you like it, and you can do it. Okay. You may feel it a little. If you can do them well without experiencing too much discomfort, you might feel that you can feel it in your quads a little bit more. The actual final note I want to make is, if you are going to do, and I discovered this as I was doing all my different squatting experimentation, trying to figure out what's comfortable, what works. Okay, I did discover this, that if you have the mobility to do so, if you have the mobility to go down, and then you can even squat down and put the weight on the floor. You can let the weight rest on the floor and just hold that pose. And even right now as I'm demonstrating it, I can just feel my quads just burning. Okay? They're starting to shake. They're getting perturbed. Okay? And then after I hold that for a few seconds, I come back up, and that thrust upward, that lift from being in that position, is going to be rough on your quads. So I can say that this is one of the benefits of doing your squat this way versus, say, a goblet squat, is you can just do a few standard reps this way, but then once you really want to start burning your quads, you can come down here and just sit for a while. Wait till you start feeling that burn for a few seconds, and then you come back up, and your legs will just be shaking. All right? I don't think that really does much for your glutes, but it can be killer on your quads if you're looking to get some quad definition. All right, so that is the actual end of this video. I've exhausted my brain. I have nothing left to say about it. Good night.